We are completely obsessed with the idea of a perfect record. You look around and see everyone trying to project this image of constant progress, flawless execution, and back-to-back wins. The moment we hit a setback, a failed project, or a bad breakup, we treat it like a tragedy that ruins the whole script. But the real skill nobody talks about isn't how to win, it's how to take a hit without completely falling apart. If you don't know how to lose properly, you spend your entire life playing defense, protecting a fragile ego instead of taking the big swings that actually matter. History is full of moments where winning required accepting a massive immediate loss. Take the Roman general Fabius Maximus. When Hannibal invaded Italy and started slaughtering Roman legions, the entire city of Rome wanted a decisive, glorious battle to protect their pride. But Fabius knew they couldn't win a direct fight. He chose to look like a coward instead. He deliberately retreated, avoided the major battles, and let Hannibal burn the Italian countryside. It was humiliating, day-to-day loss of face and territory that made his peers hate him. But by refusing to play Hannibal's game and accepting those smaller painful losses, Fabius preserved the Roman army and bought them the time they needed to eventually win the entire war. Another example is the Russian strategy against Napoleon in 1812. As Napoleon's massive army marched towards Moscow, the Russians didn't try to defend their historic capital at all cost. Instead, they made the agonizing decision to abandon it and burn it to the ground themselves. Imagine the sheer weight of that chaos. Destroying your own historic city just to deny shelter and food to the enemy. To the outside world, it looked like total defeat. But that massive sacrifice broke Napoleon's supply lines and forced his army into a devastating winter retreat from which he never recovered. They gave up the city to save the empire. If your own life, you hit points where you're going holding on to something just because you're terrified of admitting you lost. You could be a business that is draining your bank account, a career path you hate, or a relationship that has been dead for years. You stay because you've already put so much time and effort into it, in that walking away feels like a total waste. So you keep pouring your energy into a sinking ship, hoping for a miracle. But knowing how to lose means having the maturity to look at a bad situation, accept the reality, and cut your losses before it ruins your entire future. When you change how to look at defeat, it stops being a permanent identity and starts being raw data. A loss tells you exactly where your blind spots are, which habits are actually holding you back, and who isn't actually on your team. The guys who win the biggest in the long run aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who treat a loss like a necessary tax you pay for experience. They don't whine or look for excuses. They look at the wreckage, figure out what went wrong, and use the rubble to build something stronger. Stop trying to protect a flawless record that doesn't exist. If you're never losing, it just means you're playing in a league that's way too easy for you. Accept the fact that sometimes you have to step backwards to get enough room to run forward. Lose the bad habit, lose the toxic connections, and lose the fear of looking foolish. Rebuilding from scratch on solid ground is infinitely better than standing on top of a situation that is about to collapse under your feet.